Welcome back. This is another video in which we celebrate Jane Austen's 240th birthday. I mean, I think she looks pretty good for her age. Yeah. I hope I look that good when I'm 240. So today I thought I'd try my hand at making a book tag video. There are some Jane Austen book tags floating around in BookTube, but I didn't see one exactly like this. If there is one out there that I missed, please send it my way because I love watching them. But this is my take on it. So we're gonna do them by books. So we're gonna start with Pride and Prejudice, a book that everyone raved about, but you didn't think was all that great, but then you changed your mind. I recently had a book like this for one of my book clubs, and we're reading The Kind Worth Killing by Peter Swanson, and I started the book, and immediately, not immediately, a little while into it, I was like, oh, I don't like this book, and I texted everybody in my book club, and I was like, I don't like this at all. This is awful. I don't want to read this. Ugh. And then I kept going, and there are twists and turns. It's a mystery in which two strangers meet, and they together decide to kill the wife of one of the strangers. And you get the perspective of several people in the story, and it really adds stuff to it, and there are lots of twists and like, oh my gosh, moments that I wasn't expecting. And in the end, the book was really good and I really enjoyed it, but there were parts that I was like, I don't like this. I don't like this. Next is Persuasion. Persuasion is a book that people dissuaded you from reading that when you actually read, you loved. And that book, nobody really dissuaded me from reading because I chose it, once again, for one of my book clubs. I chose it and everybody else didn't really like it, and they tried to talk about how much why they didn't like it and all this stuff, and I just refused to agree with them because I really loved it. And that was The Winter Sea by Susanna Kearsley, which is wonderful. It's historical fiction, but also kind of magical realism, and it takes place in Scotland, and it's really good. That book club is really not into anything that's kind of got a fantasy element or that has a really romantic element to it, and this book has both of those kind of heavily, so it really it wasn't their cup of tea, but I loved it. And I love Susanna Kearsley. She's awesome. Mansfield Park, a book that you quietly love but would defend to the death if someone spoke poorly of it. This one, I don't quietly love anything. If I love something, you know about it. I don't low-key love anything. But a book that I would defend, and I almost had to defend at work the other day, is Two Boys Kissing by David Levithan, which is a wonderful book and you should read it. But somebody put it out on display the other day and it upset some parents. Northanger Abbey, a book that you still daydream about. So I spend a lot of time still thinking about the Raven Cycle books by Maggie Stiefvater, partially because they are not completed yet. We're still waiting on the Raven King to come out this coming year. And I follow Maggie Stiefvater, she talks about them a lot, and I just really love those books, and I don't know what's going to happen next, and I like to reread them and think about my characters and my Ronan and everybody else in those books. But also other books by an author that I think about a lot and I reread when I'm in a crappy mood are several of Jennifer CRUSIE's books, especially Bet Me and Faking It and Welcome to Temptation. I really love those three books. So those are mine. Next, Sense and Sensibility, a book with a family dynamic that you love. This one, I've got a bunch, but off the top of my head, I would say probably the families and the parents in Dante and Aristotle Discover the Secrets of the Universe by Benjamin Elire Saints. I think that's how you say his name. I really like the parents of Dante and Aristotle in those books. They're very different, but they're very accepting of their kids, and I love them, and they show them that it's okay for them to be who they are. And I like that. Ooh, Lady Susan. This is a book with a character you'd love to hate. I really, really like she's sort of the villainess. Yeah, she's the villain in most of the books. Sort of. In the Finishing School series by GAIL CARRIGER, and that's Monique de Pelouse, there we go. Monique de Pelouse. She's catty and mean, and she's hilarious, and she and Sophronia have the most hilarious, witty interchanges and banter. And lastly, Sanditon, a book you haven't been able to finish for whatever reason. How about Infinite Jest by David Foster Wallace. Also, I haven't finished reading Consider the Lobster, which is a book of essays by David Foster Wallace. So, just David Foster Wallace in general, I guess. Yeah. Okay, so that is my book tag for Jane Austen's books. If you would like to do it, then I tag you. I don't really have anybody in particular. I think it would be really awesome if Ron did this, but Ron's probably not watching my videos, but that's okay. Anybody else who would like to, I would love to see your videos, so please tell me if you do them. And, you know, remember to do all those nice things you can do on YouTube, like this video, comment below if you know, just have a comment to tell me. And make sure that you subscribe if you haven't already, and share it with other people. Okay, thanks, and thanks for celebrating Jane Austen.